Hello VC, so I'm back again, and today's video will be sort of on records from the late 70s, early 80s, some of the stuff called new wave, cold wave, dubstep, new romantic, on and on. Can't keep up. So it was just basically records from around that time frame. A lot of you will recognize these bands. Let's jump right in and start. And we're going to start with one of my favorite groups, and this is the group called Yellow.
You know that my tears have kept me awake. The longer you're gone, I'll hunger and shake from Warsaw.
So that is a record by Yellow with guest artist Shirley Bassey, who's famous from the James Bond themes. I have many of their albums, but not all. These guys have put out a ton of albums over the years. I've got most of them. For anyone who's sort of like starting out, want to pick up maybe one or two Yellow albums just to see. This is one I would really recommend you start with. It's sort of like a greatest hits. This would be a good one to start with if you sort of want to get in Yellow. Here's there's their, I think this is their very first album. This is on a label I think called Ralph Records. I bought this when I was a kid, so this is my very first Yellow album. And let me just see here. I think it's, show you the label anyway on that. Bought that long time ago. So I've been a Yellow fan almost since the very beginning. One thing that's very interesting is that I've mentioned several times that at the flea market, the new wave records are generally a genre of music that the vendors didn't want, and they would sell them cheap. Typically, I would pay anywhere from 25 cents to $1 for a new wave record. With one, and Yellow was one exception. For whatever reason, vendors never price those records cheap. They're usually $5 and up for whatever reason. That was one of the only artists that got that price. Here's one I think most people are familiar with. I think he's got a couple albums out. I'm pretty sure I got both. This is sort of the one that got played where I lived growing up. Got an album out too, Nightclub School, something like that. I'm pretty sure I have that in my collection. Here's a group that I really like. As far as I know, and see, you can correct me on this, but I think this album was only released in Canada. I don't think it was released in the United States, but I might be wrong. You can let me know. Vicious Pink. That was a flea market purchase, and so was this one. I'm just going to show the jacket. Here's a jacket that kind of stands out a bit. I think this is an EP. Here's a group that I like, but I like mostly their very early stuff. As time went on, I found them to sort of like go a little bit more commercial, a little bit more towards the AM radio side of things a bit, at least where I live. I was starting to hear that. But this is the band UB40.
7 on a Monday morning. It's a Saturday. It's just too hot to be working. Yeah. But you got to pay your way. So here I am, sitting at a bus stop, wishing I was somewhere else. I didn't have to work my rocks up, wishing I could play myself.
This is a good record, I think, for representing the early stuff. 1980, 1983. I think that's probably one of my favorites by them. Just to show you here, so UB40, which I think was unemployment benefit, and form number 40. I believe that's what UB40 came from, the unemployment thing. This is a double record set as well. Here's a band everybody's aware of, and as far as I know, I do have all of their studio recordings and a few live recordings, but I'm pretty sure I got all the studio recordings. This is, of course, the Talking Heads.
All I see is little smear, summer spots. Feel like murder, but that's alright. Someone said it's too much light. It's on. It'll be over in a minute or two. I'm
Super well-known group there.
put me down.
I remember now this one particular record I bought at the record store when it came out. I think bought it the week it came out. But most of my Talking Head records I bought at the flea market, so for like $1 or whatever. And I can remember though bringing this one home, and one of my friends looked at the jacket and said, "Well, the boys went all out on the design of that jacket." So of course we have just to show Stop Making Sense, which is their Talking Heads movie. There's just a record there. I actually had the VH tape of that concert, and then it was put on DVD. And I went out and bought the DVD, and unfortunately with the DVD, I think there's at least 3 tracks missing. They were missing the masters or whatever, but I had that too. And just for showing, here's the Talking Heads, Chicago, 1978, for hardcore fans. You might be interested in this one. This is Talking Heads in 1982. Another one for hardcore fans. This one I picked up at the flea market. I think, and again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I think this was only sort of like a promotional record that went out to radio stations I believe, and there's nothing like this. Is what it came. It was just a jacket. I guess it's Talking Heads Live. I saw it at the flea market for whatever, and I thought, geez, yeah, I'll get that, but whatever. So if you're talking about the Talking Heads, then of course you got to talk about the TomTom Club. I got this. I actually did buy this one at a record store. I think as soon as it came out. Another band that's fairly well known, and that is the Thompson Twins.
Hey you, I've seen your face before. It's you in the picture which hangs on my bedroom wall. Is it true? All of those things that they say about you. So tell me.
I got most of the Thompson Twin albums at the flea market for 25 cents each. A little story on the Thompson Twins. There was a concert in Toronto. Two groups, Reflex and Thompson Twins. I think it was at Massey Hall. And I said, oh, this is fantastic. Two of my favorite groups coming on the same bill. Tickets weren't too bad. So we bought the tickets. The tickets were sold maybe about 3 months in advance. And so we got our tickets for the concert, and some friends of mine and that. And right at that time, when we bought the tickets, one of their songs, and I don't remember which one, got on AM radio in the United States and became a hit. So sort of like overnight, Thompson Twins' popularity just went poof. So we wandered down to the night of the concert, and the concert has been canceled. So it really pissed me off. And this was at a venue that seats maybe 2,500 people or something like that. And I knew exactly why it was canceled. And sure enough, 3 weeks later, it was announced that, ticket holders, the new concert is now at this great big 16,000 seat stadium. And it's just Thompson Twins alone, no Reflex. I just cashed the ticket back in. I didn't go to the concert. I was so pissed off with them. Here's another one. I got these records, I think, at the flea market. This is a pretty good band. I like these guys.
Feel me now, feel the pain, take the blame, feel the strain. Before a word was spoken, my heart was broken. Feel me now, feel the pain, take the blame. Feel me now, feel the pain, take the blame, feel the same. Before a word was spoken,
So the next artist,
my heart was broken.
everybody in the world knows. So let's go and show. Blondie.
Although I'm young, I got a job to do. Get the microfilm in the lining of my shoe. Call it a business trip. Gotta hide inside my trench coat and be clever. I got my papers in a cyanide bill. My Polaroids, a taser in disguise. There's a base on the hill, and the beat feels looks like Kansas in November.
So, to the best of my knowledge, I have all of Blondie's studio albums. And the one, interestingly, that was just a little bit hard to come by. It was one that the least one to come across in the flea market or something was this one right here. And this is probably one of the last ones I picked up by the band, Plastic Letters. For where I live, for whatever reason, that one was a little bit difficult to come across. And of course, when I was at the end of sort of my flea market days, and this is now the vinyl resurgence is full steam ahead. Everybody and their dog is looking for vinyl records. Prices are going up, and it's harder to get good records. And I used to hang out with vendors all the time at the flea markets, and sometimes they'd actually have me look after the booth while they ran out to the car or something like that. And just hanging around vendors, talking, killing time. Every 15, 20 minutes, without fail, every day, every vendor, teenage girls would come up saying, "Do you have the Heart of Glass album?" I was saying to the vendors, man, if you had Blondie alone, you could stay in business. Because, man, every girl was looking, especially for this one, which of course is Parallel Lines, but they would say, we are looking for the Heart of Glass album. And of course, the vendors, if they ever had one, it would be gone in 5 minutes. And so, here's Blondie Live, interesting album for fans of Blondie. And here's one right here, early and late shows, September 1977. Hardcore Blondie fans, you gotta have this one in your collection as well. Right there. Guys, I'm just gonna reset the camera. My camera is hanging by a thread. It's a piece of junk. It's 13 years old, whatever. And then I'll be back in 1 second. See, back in 1 second, just like I said I would. So, of course, another really big popular band during that time, the B-52s. So, again, as far as I know, I have every B-52 studio album on vinyl, which was a bit of a challenge because 2 of the records I had to get from Europe. I don't know if it's a situation that they were on CD only in North America or what. I couldn't get vinyl in North America. And here's one right here, the B-52s Live London 2013. Just all you hardcore B-52 guys, make sure you have this one in your collection. Oh, it's colored vinyl too, look at that. Just to show, I would see these at the flea market and I pick them up. These are dirt cheap. Is these, I guess it's like a magazine and a record. I believe it's called Debut. And this is what they look like. So if I ever saw them, I pick them up. I mean, there's a book inside each one. I'm not going to go through it all, but just to give you some idea. So they're introducing sort of like the new wave bands at the time and giving you some information on it. So it's like a magazine with a record. And I have seen other people in the VC show these as well, so I guess they're around. Now, this particular one is issue 2. I don't know how many issues there were. I didn't get too many because I didn't see that many around. If I saw them, I'd grab them. Here's another one everybody knows, The Clash.
Top. The shaky drove his Cadillac. He went a cruising down the bill. The prison was a standing on the radiator grill.
Now, I'm not a super big Clash fan. What Clash I have, I bought from a private collection. An individual was selling his collection of records. There was Clash in there. I just throw them in. Here's a band that a lot of people like, the Buzzcocks. So I know that's is that the band with Pete Shelly in it, I think. I'm not really absolutely 100% sure, but this was would be a record that I picked up for 25 cents at the flea market. When you see them lying around a table for 25 cents, you're going to grab them. Just add them to the collection. Now this is one of my favorite, not only like new wave bands, one of my favorite bands, period. And I tried to pick up just about everything they had, and a lot of it is difficult to come across, probably because it was probably import or whatever for here in Canada. But I really like these guys a lot, and this is the Bullock Brothers.
On a Friday night, I like to go and watch horror movies. I like watching Dracula, Frankenstein, and all those old groovies. Some like it cold, I like it hot, especially when my girl holds my hand such a lot. Wow, me and my girlfriend, we love watching horror movies.
Me and my boyfriend on a Friday night.
This particular one's a 2-record set. A lot of their stuff sort of like had religious overtones to it. Just going to show from here. The 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Just show another one here. But I don't even know if this has a actual title, but yeah, I just showed the Bullock Brothers. Here's one, 45. I'm not sure if this is, was it Crew Stark? The people in the UK, everyone in the UK is watching this, they would know, but this is The Prince and the Showgirl. JFK on the back. What is it? Kennedy. Yeah, is that Marilyn Monroe, I guess? And I think, wasn't it one of the princes? Prince Andrew, or I don't know, Prince Charles was dating Crew Stark or someone? Don't know. And of course, live album. So you can see they got some pretty interesting covers. And here's a little comparison. You got Wonder where they got that idea from, eh? Now, the Bullock Brothers, most of that I got either online. I did find a couple at the flea market. It was interesting that I just go, oh, geez, there's one here at the flea market. And I said, that vendor, he doesn't know what he's got there. So I walk up to him and go, I'll give you $3 for that. And he'd go, no, that's a very rare record. I'm not going to take less than 15. Ah, Jesus, the guy knows what he's got. So a little bit associated with the Bullock Brothers, of course, then is Red Lipstick.
Si un jour tu devais me quitter, j'aimerais que ce ne soit pas à Paris.
He wrote this story of Dorian Gray. He never really cared what people might say. Oscar Wilde was before his time, sunflower king of poetry and rhyme.
There's an artist very well known. So this will be Ian Dury.
Sex and drugs and rock and roll is all my brain and body need. Sex and drugs and rock and roll, it's very good indeed. Keep your silly ways or throw them out the window. The wisdom of your ways, I've been there and I know lots of other ways. What a jolly
Another super well-known group right here, Duran Duran. So Duran Duran is one of the groups whose albums would be 25 cents at the flea market. A bunch of, though my favorite Duran Duran song is Do You Believe in Shame, which is, I think is on the album Big Thing, and that is one of the albums I do not have by Duran Duran. The album of my favorite song. Here's another really big well-known band. There we go. The last band I'll show now, because this video is getting way too long. Again, super well-known band. I've seen these guys twice in concert live, and this is Depeche Mode. Then, yeah, Depeche Mode. I got most of those albums at the flea market, 25 cents to $1, pretty much. Though I was a Depeche Mode right from the very beginning, because their very first album, Speak and Spell, I actually bought that the week it came out at the record store. So I've been, and in fact, I sort of lost interest in Depeche Mode after about 5 or 6 years. I don't know, the sound or whatever is slightly changing, and it's their earlier stuff. Maybe the first 3-4 albums is what I really like the best from that. So that's what I'll show right now. This will probably be part 1. I mean, I've got hundreds of these albums like this that I can show. So maybe I'll probably make a part 2, and I might end up having to make a part 3. I'll just see how many people watch this thing, and we'll go from there. And if you've noticed that the lighting is changing, sorry about that. It's getting darker because I'm sitting in front of the 3 windows here, and during the making of this video, a thunderstorm is rolling in, and it is getting darker and darker outside. So as always, thank you for watching, and y'all have a great day.